Welcome everyone to the Ideas Make Love broadcast. I'm here with Eyal. Welcome, Eyal.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
It's great to have you, man.
In the kingdom.
We are in the pleasure trove known as my bedroom. It's a very good place to be having a conversation, sitting on the edge of my bed about conscious seduction. So, first off, welcome everyone there. If you want to just say a quick hello and just let us know how you've been before we start, as we start to get into conversation about this, and go from there. So maybe we'll just start with, what does conscious seduction mean to you?
So I've been playing around with this thing all of my life, and when I was young, kind of like my seduction technique was to hide from the girls that I liked, and that didn't work. Later it was to call them and tell them I love them, I wanted to be my girlfriend. That didn't work. Later I was going sequentially to woman by woman and telling her that I want to have sex with her. That worked sometimes, but it didn't feel right. And it was, most of those meetings were still nice and okay and stuff, but still it didn't feel right. And afterwards, when I started practicing Tantra, I started also exploring conscious seduction and learning about courtship, learning how to interact with women. And as a man who was a bit not exactly shy as a boy, but not really sure how to approach them, it was amazing for me to learn this. So conscious seduction is engaging in courtship, engaging with actively going after people that you love or people that you're attracted to, hopefully both. Both at the same time, and learning how to handle those interactions. And also, it's both for men and for women. It's for people who are kind of like in monogamy and also poly. And it's also for women to learn how to go after men that they like, or women that they like, and also how to respond to people who are hitting on them.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned this idea of going for people that you like, or seducing in a way that you're knowing how to respond and how to interact. There's a beautiful hint I got from one of my general managers once upon a time, and that was rat and the cheese. It was like you're the cheese, and there's the all the different rats that want to eat your cheese. So a bit of a cheesy pun, but it definitely transformed the way that I looked at seduction, because I was always like, well, I'm very much a go-getter, so I'd just charge in. If I saw somebody that I wanted, I'd be like, boom, how you doing? Let's go home. Like that kind of energy, and it kind of takes a little bit of the mystery and the fun out of it, right? So welcome everyone, and hello Higo. Thanks for your comment, mate. We are always on the edge. Definitely both of us we're hanging off the edge at the moment, hanging off the edge of this bed and hanging off the edge of life. So yeah, thanks, man.
We can also do in bed with the Eyal.
Yeah. So to sort of flip the question, what conscious seduction is for me, a bit more on that, is for me it works off actually approaching the whole idea of relationships and relating in a way that is actually thought through, not necessarily planned and strategized, but definitely present to whatever's happening in the situation, listening into what's happening, having a background of, okay, well, I've got this attraction for this person or romantic pull towards this person, and allowing it to be an overture or an underture within the thing. So this, I find.
What do you mean by an overture and an underture?
Well, there's like a background of sexuality to it, right? So there's definitely no shame within it, but it's not like the only thing. Like it's not like this is the only reason why I'm talking to you. In fact, for me, conscious seduction begins now with a foundation of friendship, with that overture and underture of romance or sexuality, depending. And that works very, very well. And it ties quite well into my 6 essences, which are essentially a framework for conscious seduction. But we'll go into that a little bit later. So yeah, guys, if you have any questions you'd love to ask us, this is your opportunity to do that. Just pop them into the chat. And that includes, if you're watching this cast afterwards, feel free to ask some questions and we can address them in the comments section below, either in Facebook or YouTube, depending on where you're watching this. So what else is coming up for you there, man, around conscious seduction? So if I was a, somebody who's new to the idea of approaching somebody, what would you say is something to keep in mind so that I don't go down the wrong path when it comes to seduction?
Actually, I want to relate to what you said was coming up for me, and maybe we'll get to the nitty gritty how a bit later, if that's okay.
Totally, yeah.
So what's coming up is that this is a very, very charged topic, and even when we were talking about how are we going to call it, we were discussing the name courtship or dating or something like this, and then we said, oh, let's call it seduction. Knowing that the word seduction is going to trigger some people. So we don't necessarily want to trigger, but we want to bring up the conversation to a higher level and to a true level. So there is a lot of cultural misunderstanding, there's a lot of guilt, there's a lot of shame, there's a lot of judgment around the idea of courtship and seduction. And I know that for myself. When I was growing up, I just believed that things would just happen by themselves, So I would be interested in somebody, and without doing anything, saying anything, or whatever I said or whatever I did, like it's supposed to work. And I kept saying, I don't like to play the games.
Yes, I feel you. Yeah. I had a similar thing where I first started studying social dynamics and read books like The Game by Neil Strauss, and it actually disgusted me to find things like negging, where you actually consciously choose something that's like a thing that's a flaw in a person to try and have them be insecure. Yeah. So yeah, I feel you there.
Yeah. And it really, really frustrated me, and I kept saying I don't want to play the game. But what happened is that we are always playing some kind of, maybe not a game, but we have certain patterns. And my pattern was, and sometimes still is, I love you, and I want to adore the shit out of you, and I want to tell you all of the things that's like, I want to give all of my love, and people are like, wow, it's like, we just met.
Yeah.
It's like, and I'm like, no, it's like, and I realized, and I'm still learning that, by the way, it's like, I'm, sexuality expert, whatever, orgasm expert, but I'm still learning this stuff myself as well, and one of the reflections that I got, which is related to nagging, by the way, it's just the opposite. So I would do the opposite of nagging. So I would keep telling, a woman how much is beautiful and intelligent and cute and inspiring and creative and whatever. And the feedback that I got from women is that they can't even receive and contain that.
Yeah.
So I would just be transmitting, and I wouldn't allow the person to interact with me. So that's what I'm saying, that we are all playing a game, or we are all playing personas, or we all have different kind of patterns of interaction because we don't know how to interact. Nobody teaches us how to interact.
Yeah.
And in the animal kingdom, if they don't know how to interact, their genes are going to die. So they have to learn how to interact in order to get a partner. And both partners, the male and the female in the animal kingdom, need to learn how to interact. But we as people, hello Ryan, by the way.
Hi Ryan.
We as people, we don't know how to interact, and nobody teaches us this. And there's, like I said, this judgment around seduction, like as if you're learning seduction, which means you wanting to take advantage of somebody else. So yeah, that's starting, just the beginning of what's coming up around that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a look here. A comment from Higo. Thanks, Higo. As we begin, I think we are always shy, but as we grow, we form into what we think we should be. But I think we always think we want more than we're capable of or standard. But when we grow, I think we learn and adapt. Yeah, it's part of life, right? Are we conscious? Are we conscious? Are we choosing to do the same thing every day and repeat the same patterns? And the definition of stupidity is like, just doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different kind of result? Or are we, taking it and actually learning it and actively looking for models of interaction? And I think there's the thing there around authenticity as well for people, who, might be used to operating a certain way for 40 years of their life, and then they're trying something else and they want to be authentic and real.
Are you saying that because I'm 40?
No, not at all. Didn't even guess that. I would have gone for 27 at least.
With this bald head.
Yeah.
So changing patterns. That's a good thing. And yeah, were you about to say something? Because I definitely have.
That's
more to say.
You got more to say? No, you can.
Yeah. So how I see it is that there is and again, I listened. I didn't read the game. I listened to what was it? Interviews with Dating Gurus by David D'Angelo, which nowadays is called Eben Pagan, and I've listened to a lot of this stuff. I've experimented with this stuff. I failed a lot, and I also, had amazing experiences with many, many, many women. Okay, and those were connected, loving, sacred, fun experiences that lasted anything from a few hours to a few days, weeks, months, or a year. So what I'm saying is that there's many ways to do it, and what I found is that there's two extremes. So one extreme that I was definitely exploring, that extreme is really going for it, really, so seducing, hunting, going for women. So I was identifying the women that I was interested in. And for me, what does it for me? Do you say this in English? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's doing it for me. What does it for me is a combination of obviously looks, but also I like cute women. I like positive women. I don't like bitchy women. So if I would recognize somebody who looks interesting and feels like she's open emotionally and sexually, I would be going after many, many women. So that's one extreme. And the other extreme, which I'm honestly learning now, is the idea of attractiveness. So the idea of attractiveness is putting yourself out there. So it's not being in a cave and expecting somebody to knock on the door, but it's about kind of like giving the signs that I am available and allowing people, in my case, I'm women, to come, okay, to approach and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's happening as well. And so what I'm suggesting to people is that explore whatever it is that you are comfortable with, but then after a while also explore the other extreme. Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's actually worth, I would almost suggest doing both from the start. Now, of course, we're going to naturally lean towards whatever we're strong at in the first place, but it's these two things play such a vital role. And I believe if we don't actually consciously choose to grow both, we'll end up going to that extreme. Yeah.
If that's how we can end up, just being this person who always approaches people, or is so aloof and doesn't, is wondering why no one wants to commit to them because they keep attracting aloof people, right? So, but it is definitely, there's a point where, actually point going back the other way, where we've created that harmony where the aloofness does become mystery. Yeah. And I'm so the same way, man. I'm just like all in. Like once I'm with somebody, that's it. Baruta's just come in and said that she loved to us both. Baruta can speak as a testament to that. And when I met her at a polyamorous meetup, we were together for the following 3 days, like nonstop, right? Just full immersed into the world. And as beautiful as that is, I think there's something that we can do to sort of play with the idea of the to and fro and the dance of seduction. Yeah. And remembering that it's not just a one-way thing. Like there's this other person who hopefully has attraction for you too, and who wants to seduce you. So allow them the space to seduce you, whatever that looks like.
Yeah, and I really resonate with what you're saying. To explore both extremes in the same time. So both the kind of like going for it and the attractiveness. And also, I really resonate with what you say around feeling who you're dealing with, because I can share an experience that I had very, very recently, where I was like, okay, I'm doing this attractiveness thing, and it's like I'm just hinting and stuff, and making hinting that I'm available, but I'm not really going for it. So I was interacting with this Latina woman, it's like, and I was just giving her a few signs, and I was sure that she was interested. I could see that she was interested. I was getting the body language sign, and we were dancing very, very sensually on the dance floor, and everything was amazing. But then she wasn't taking initiative. I basically told her, it's like, oh, I initiated once. It's like, if you want to meet, just tell me. And then she kept giving me all of the signs that she was interested, but she wasn't initiating. So it came out to one middle of the night, and I basically, after like another very, very hot dance, I basically Facebooked her and I said, like, what's going on? And she said, yeah, I like you and this and that. And suddenly I understood she likes me, and she doesn't know what to do and how to express it. So I was like, okay, what is your address? I'm coming. And she's like, I don't know, it's a bit late. It was 12:30, you know, 12:30 in the night. It's a bit late. I was like, what's your fucking address?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I want to have sex. It's like, I'm not really sure. It's like, and I was like, what's your fucking address? And yeah, she gave me her address, and I came over, made love for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And she was actually appreciative, grateful for the fact that I approached her like this, because otherwise she wouldn't have done anything. Okay, so what I'm saying, and by the way, guys, don't get this as an excuse to be stalkers, stalkers, no means no, and so on. Yeah. And again, we had a small process of, you know, boundaries and so on when I came over, and it was very obvious that the woman wanted to make love with me. And by the way, this is something that is turning into a short. Right now, we're in a relationship, we're seeing each other, it's getting really, really deep. And that's what I'm saying about the seduction. Seduction isn't just about, you know, having sex with as many women or men as you want.
Yeah.
It's about learning how to go for the people that you're interested in and how to make things happen.
And it applies on so many levels other than sexuality and romance as well. Seduction as a process and attraction is such a, you know, it's how we connect with people. It's how we relate with the world and the beings that are out there. I do want to take some of the points that have been coming up here. So thank you, Sharon, for joining the cast. And I'm looking forward to doing a live with you on Saturday, Sharon, as well. So that'll be great. I believe a lot of women step away from conscious seduction because of rejection or judgment. Dancing act between men and women in general do leave it to the part of the men. Yeah, and then that's kind of the social context which we've built up, and it's almost built into, you know, our drive if we are leaning towards masculinity as men and femininity as women, or as I like to call it, yin and yang. I would agree with that. Yourself? Yeah.
That's interesting because this is something. So I work with women as well, and I help them to connect both to the femininity and to masculinity, and to integrate that. And that's a question I get asked a lot. And what I would say is that a woman can still engage in conscious seduction, but she can do it in a roundabout way. Okay, so she can learn how to give so many hints to men that it's kind of like it becomes obvious to the men. Like hopefully the man gets the idea. Okay, so you don't necessarily need to go to a man and say it's like I want to have sex with you, but you can. There's no problem with that. But you can learn how to, you know, starting with a smile. You smile at the man, you look at the man, it's like you look at his lips, you tell him how much, you know, it's like you like this and you like that. So you start suggesting small things that you can be doing together. You establish some kind of body contact and so on. And hopefully it's about getting the men to take action.
Okay, creating an invitation.
Yeah, invitation, exactly the word.
And I totally agree. And there's an old saying around people in clubs, and the women, if they were, you know, successful at getting people that they wanted to attract, it was like planets, and they would be orbiting like a moon around the man, right? Just like dancing around him and happening to create that open space, that openness for him to approach. Like women who are closed off in a huddle and wondering why the guy's not approaching, right? Like that's
I will be approaching sometimes the groups of women.
Sometimes, but it's sometimes when people's backs are to you, like most men won't do, and sometimes it's actually bad form to come up, and it scares women to come up behind them and approach them from behind, right? So yeah, it's thinking, you know, it's almost like it's all about empathy, really. It's like all about what is happening in this other person's world, and how can I engage with that world in a way that's going to spark something between us, if that's what we desire. So yeah, cool. Thank you for that, and some suggestions there about reading. Okay, cool. Thanks, Ryan. W Dating. He's been reading a lot of these books. It's good. So these books are good. So it's a matter of what do we.
Yeah, Ryan. We are brothers from another mother. That's
Little women step away from conscious because of rejection or judgment. Dancing, we covered that already. Great, cool.
And I would actually also speak to this, that as part of sexual empowerment, as part of getting away from guilt and shame around sexuality. By the way, there are some women listening who want to play with this idea of conscious seduction and growing from it, especially if they are, you know, exploring open sexuality, poly, you know, and all of this stuff. So by all means, go for this. You know, don't subscribe to the gender roles that say it's like you just have to,
Wait
yeah. for somebody to come.
Wait for love to knock on your doorstep. Or come at 12:30 in the morning and say, "What's your fucking address?"
Yeah. So
you have to wait for that to happen.
So I would say that as a man, I was felt honored, that some women came to me and they either said, outright, I want to make love with you, or they, hinted to a level that was like very obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And some women say that they're afraid of scaring men away with those advances. And I would say, if you're scaring those men away, maybe they are not men, maybe they are boys, and they're afraid of your sexual energy, sexual power. And maybe it's like you shouldn't be with them anyway. Okay, so don't be afraid to express yourself and learn, like you said that word earlier, the dance.
The dance, and I think there is still a subtlety that needs to come in. It might even be harder for a woman to do that because they're used to just being in the feminine. Now suddenly they're in the masculine, and now suddenly they have to learn this appreciation and for the subtleties of approach, and not coming on too strong or too soft.
Yeah.
But that's a beautiful thing to play with, and I think you girls are very much in a blessed position where, you're.
Yeah, and something around that. There's a book that I just started to read. I think it's called The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene, who also wrote Mastery and Art of War and all of those. And he talks about there's different archetypes. Okay, so there's different archetypes of women and there's different ways of seduction. So it's not just the going for it for the women as well. It teaches you some ideas about how to hint and how to seduce. Okay, so so we're talking about this for a while already, and the idea is that it's an art. It's like literally it's an art. There's so many things, there's so many subtleties to it.
There is, but I do believe it's also a science. So this is probably a good transition to speak briefly on on the 6 essences, which is a system that I've created with Sensual Freedom, which has a framework of these 6 different archetypes for the process of intimacy. Or in this case, we can apply it to seduction. And then, this can be a framework that can be applied both to the masculine and the feminine. So I'll just cover it briefly. So we have the monkey, the owl, the giraffe, the dragon, the bear, and the lion. And so each of those different points relate to a part. They can be applied to conscious seduction. They can definitely be applied to networking and business. So we're going to bring it to the realm of conscious seduction. So like if I'm a person walking in and into a space and I am in my monkey mode, then I'm being the fullest expression of myself as being a fun, playful, person is here to have a really good time. And that is a generally attractive thing for most people interacting with somebody for the first time. They want to see someone who's vibrant, who's got the attention of the whole group. This person has value, or at least perceived value, and it is going to create this want for these people in this group to connect with you potentially individually. And then from there, we go to the owl, which is, okay, let's not be too overt and just go for anybody. Like, we have got value, and being the owl is about being discerning. It's about looking out for red flags in a person. Is this someone I even want to interact with as a friend, let alone as a lover or wife one day, right? And then from the owl, we go to the giraffe, which is the biggest hearted land animal, and it's about genuinely creating a heart connection with that person, sharing vulnerably, and and then allowing and creating the space to share vulnerably with one person as well, once they've been quote unquote qualified, to use some other terms from other dating programs. But it's once you've chosen to interact with them and they've chosen to interact with you deeper, that's where you go to the giraffe, and that's where you've both earned the right to know some of your deeper intimacies together. And then from there you can go to the dragon, which is when it's like, okay, now it's time to happen. Now I want to make this thing happen. I'm going to make this move, whether it's the guy or the girl, initiating the kiss, and then exploring sexuality from there. That's where the trust, the attraction, and the respect have all been built, right? And then that can lead into the sexuality. And then from there, the bear is the morning after. If you are feeling inclined and you want to connect with this person more, then hopefully you're not going to just say, see you later. You'll actually make them breakfast and be that loving bear that's going to show potential for relationship. And then finally, if you decide and you end up in relationship together, that's where the lion comes in, and you can lead the pack with your lioness or lion, if you are that. So that's a very brief overview of seduction, Elphie way, which is actually a collaboration of over 100 people's teachers' methodologies and systems and processes into a map, because I do believe it is both a science and an art, but we need to approach it as both a science and an art. Otherwise, we get too caught up in overthinking it and strategizing rather than being present, or being so lost in it that we get to the end of the night with an amazing girl and she had to suddenly leave and you didn't even get the number, right? Because we didn't have this marker that goes, at the giraffe, I should get the number, right? Like, something could happen.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and it's interesting, saying that it's a science, but it's also an art. You notice that we've been talking for nearly half an hour about conscious seduction, and we haven't talked about pickup lines. So when people talk about this idea of seduction, the thing that seduction, not conscious seduction, they think about pickup lines, and pickup lines are generally not important. So get out of this idea that it's a technique. Okay, so it's not seduction, and generally sexuality is not about having a technique. It's about having what I call an attitude. An attitude means that you're coming with the right intention. You're coming with an intention to connect. You're coming with an intention to serve. You're coming with an intention to explore. You're coming with an intention to discover parts of yourself, to connect with parts of the other person that you haven't seen before in them or in anybody else. You have maybe even intention to have tantric spiritual practice together, whatever, or relationship, marriage, kids, whatever that is. Okay, so it's not about the pickup lines. If you think it's about pickup lines, you're missing the point.
Yeah, if there's some kind of magic pill. But at the same time, knowing to go in with an open question is a beautiful guidebook for just creating some kind of magic. So there is, I think there's a point, we could definitely get to this point where we're just like overanalyzing and scripting the whole thing, and it misses the joy of the whole point of the process, which was to have this beautiful interaction with somebody that doesn't have to go off script. That's cool.
Yeah, for me, like the best that's it, say, hey, how are you doing? And that's like, what's up? And then I would enjoy flirting, which is another word for seduction, because I flirt a lot, and I even flirt with people who are not, I don't even intend to be with, I just enjoy flirting. So the flirting would be around having fun and having nice interactions. Okay, so I would ask them about what they're doing, what they're holding in their hands, if they're enjoying whatever event that we're in. So I would basically seek connection and seek to deepen connection and to deepen meaning. So that's my seduction. It's like technique.
Yeah. Seek to deepen connection. I like it. Yeah. Anything else that you would say is one of your high level points of seduction?
High points of seduction. We can talk about different experiences.
Just before we go into it, can we have someone comment actually on this cast? I just noticed we haven't had a comment for a while now, so I'm just wondering whether the comments are working. We have gone on to some pretty good rants, so might not be a space there for you guys to comment. So if someone could please comment just to confirm that we are still live with the comments, and we're still live at all. A great conversation even if we're not, but I'd like to confirm we are still live. We still have a few minutes, 15 minutes left in this cast, so I'm just going to troubleshoot that at the same time. Maybe there's something you want to share.
What I can say is that this for me has been an amazing experience and an amazing exploration. Because as I said, I was shy, and I was also yearning for connection, yearning to deepen and to engage and to explore and so on. And those literally years and years and years of, it's like I said, like other things, but this was definitely a priority, for me. And I have experienced such amazing amazing connections with women and amazing sex, and it's like one of the reasons I became a sexual healer is because I had so many sexual interactions with women. And by the way, conscious seduction means conscious, which means maybe pop the link there again. Conscious also means sober. Okay, so I hardly ever been with women who were drunk. Hardly means.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Sharon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So hardly means I don't actually remember if I've been. So I've never been with somebody who like next morning, she was like, who are you? Because she was so drunk she didn't remember. So for me, it's like I want to relate, to connect, to make love with, or even just to interact with somebody who is conscious. There might have been, people who maybe were a bit stoned on what I call happy drugs. But mostly it was sober. So engaging with people, and also, daytime, not in clubs, not in, bars and stuff, because I don't drink or hardly ever drink. And when I drink, it's like, for me, drink is like a third of a wine glass. It's like, I'm done. So conscious also means sober, because many people, they feel that they need to drink alcohol in order to engage and to open and have sex and, approach other people or allow other people to approach them. So one of the things that I'm doing with sexual empowerment is to help connect people with their own sexuality, with their own pleasure, letting go of fear, guilt, and shame around their sexuality, their body, their self-worth, getting them to love themselves. And when you allow yourself to love yourself, you're able to allow other people to love you.
Yeah, and look, I definitely feel if people want to go to the master and learn about 7 or 8 different kinds of orgasm from his 200-page book, and or working in person, that's definitely something you can do. On the point of being sober, yeah, I think it can be a process. There you go. Look at this. Orgasm Unleashed. Is Facebook going to let us have a?
And it's a real book.
Yep.
Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah. That if you are wanting to do it, like become sober around it. I've found as well. I went from this, very mainstream. Let's go to the club. Let's all be tough and try and see who we can attract, whilst off our face on, alcohol or whatever else we chose to have back in those days. And it did take a lot of the joy out of it. It did make it easier, quote unquote, for the stuff that I remembered. But weaning oneself off that. You don't have to go cold turkey straight away, but just, maybe only going up half as often to get a drink from the bar and trying that on. Because that's where the true joy is. That's where the true intensity is as well. When we're not numbing ourselves out to the experience. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. So we've got a few more comments coming through. Thank you, guys.
I have something to say about that.
Yeah, please go ahead. The first, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Don't want to take comments. And this is where cultivating sexual energy is so important. Okay? Because I would talk with guys and they would say, it's like, I blow one off, I jerk off before I go out, because then I don't feel it that I'm so horny and needy and whatever. But I would say, no, it's like you're missing the point. Cultivate that sexual energy so you're more attractive, and also obviously practice ejaculation control. There's a free program on my website and whatever. And learn.
Pause that for a second. There is a free point, because there's a few people looking on this cast that might really like that. There's a free program, I've checked it out, around ejaculation control. So if that even doesn't sound like anything that is within your range of knowledge, check it out, because it will change your life. Not having to, finish. I need to be. It's all right. I just realized that there could be kids dialing in, but whatever. Yeah, like
okay,
kids should learn this as well. And frankly, I'm gonna get my soapbox out now. Like, I think kids are way too addicted to porn, and I see
they're starting from 11.
Starting at 11 and doing homework whilst having porn on another monitor. Back when I was a kid, I had to hide that stuff under the bed, and but now it's just so freely accessible that one of the solutions to this, to not becoming impotent at 21, or if you are around my age, you could actually gain that over the next couple of years if you're still used to porn every day, is to gain control over your sexuality, over your ability to sublime your orgasm back in within yourself, and you'll be amazed. So you popping a
comment here.
Comment? Yeah, just down here. We'll put a comment here. Okay, so commenting is me. And while you're doing that, I'm just going to read out. Go for it. Yeah. So I think you need to find and eat your equal, as in sex, looks, drive, ambitions in life. But when you're young, you don't look at that. You grow, you learn, you want more stability and a long life. Yeah, we definitely temper our tastes as we go. And, you know, I say that I only made love vaginally with 2 women before the age of 30. I didn't have much of a knowledge. You knew that, right?
I kind of knew that, but I forgot that.
Okay, cool. So yeah, there is this period. So it's reasonably recent for me to have gone out and experienced the many flavors of the world of women. And it's interesting to sort of go through that process. And I was talking about this with my housemate who was on one of our previous lives. I think it was the second live before this one. Did a great one about chakras. Tom, he and I, you know, we're both sort of in this phase where, you know, there's no longer that need there. Once there's no longer that need there, we can then have, you know, real choice. And it's not like, oh, you stumbled over somebody, ended up in bed with them, and now you're married, right? Which did actually happen to me once a long time ago. And yeah, so great point there, Higo. Thank you for that. We just got Eyal looking some stuff up. While we do that, I'm going to quickly have a look here and see if there's anything else. Birute. This is somebody I did stumble across, but then consciously chose to marry. 3 months later. All right, so Birute, an attitude of I deserve this woman and I am worthy leads to such a wonderful state. It does. Why is this jerking? Leads to such a wonderful state, which leads to a great conversation, and an awesome state shows from afar. It communicates so much more than words. That's true. Like it's Confucius, he said, you know, basically say less and do more. Like just be more.
Yeah, cool. And by the way, this is one of the basic thing that I work with people and with myself as well, and that's why I can work with people, is the idea of self-worth, self-love, and self-confidence. And I find that the moment that you start to appreciate yourself more, you would attract better lovers and better partners and better friends into your life. So I literally, and that's another question that I get from women, which is, you know, where do I find those men? Where do I find those tantric men, conscious lovers, and so on? And I would say that when you do your practices, when you do the practices that I, you know, suggest in my book and stuff, you would attract better lovers, and that is the idea of attraction. So it's something that I call the sexual resonance. So when you raise your sexual resonance, you would attract people with a higher sexual
neo-resonance,
well.
right? Yeah. So idea, baby, just right here is, you know, consciously seduce oneself first.
Yeah.
And that definitely applies to men, actually, you know, as much, if I think even more, because as men, we tend to externalize so much of our attraction and drive and desire, and we spend a minute, 2 minutes getting off rather than spending an hour actually pleasuring ourselves and you know,
and not getting off at the end, you know?
And not even getting off and enjoying that process, and then therefore that takes the need away from you know, the need away from having to get that experience from elsewhere. Once we're able to satiate ourselves within ourselves, wow, like that's incredibly attractive, right?
Yeah. And to relate to that as well, something's coming up for me as well. Seduction is not just on the verbal level. You know, seduction is on an energetic level. Seduction is on the body level. So it's not just how you hold your body and learning some tricks. It's literally becoming a body. Okay, so that's why, you know, I was kind of like joking on the pickup line as well, because there's so many little subtle cues. Seduction is not something that happens on the first night. It's something that happens every day of your relationship. So it's keeping that spark alive. It's seducing your partner even if you've been together for 20 years. Okay, so it's cultivating yourself as a person and as a sexual being and as a loving being and as a spiritual being as well, in order to connect with people on those levels as well. Okay, so it's not just on the verbal level of what you say.
Yeah, wonderful stream of consciousness happening here, guys. Loving this and loving all your conversations coming through. Please keep sharing any thoughts or any questions you have in the last few minutes we have of this cast. Just going to address one of the questions that came through on the Facebook page. So for anyone who's seeing more of these, and I am doing more of these over the next sort of 2 months, I'll be doing another 7 of these chats with amazing people. So I'll post questions beforehand and we can address it even if you're not on the cast with us. So here we go. I used to think some women were too beautiful for me and still sometimes feel anxious about honestly expressing my interest. I'm still curious to see, feel, hear what you're talking conscious seduction. Speak to that.
You want to speak to that?
I haven't got a lot to say to that, except...
I have something to say. I always have something.
You do? You always
have something to say.
Please, come on. They hear from you all the time. So what do you...
So, beauty is an energy. Okay, beauty is... It's not that it is the only thing which is important, and it's not that it's not important. Okay, so some people say it's like, oh, I look for the inner beauty. You know what? I like the outer beauty as well, and I'm not ashamed of that. Okay, I enjoy being with beautiful women, and all of the women that I've been with have been beautiful. You know, so it's about finding the beauty in everything. Because sometimes, so there's 2 issues with that. One of them is that guys, many guys, I hear them that they find so many faults with women. Okay, so instead of doing what in tantra we call transfiguration, which is seeing through or changing shape, or really seeing the beautiful things in the person, in the woman or in the man that you're interacting with, instead of finding faults. I had a childhood friend, like whenever I would talk about this, the woman I was interested in, a woman I would show him a woman, and say, this woman, she's do this and she's do that, or she has, hair on her hands, or has pimples, or so he was detransfiguring them. He was finding faults in them. Well, I would just go like, oh, goddess. I was just seeing goddesses everywhere. Okay, so really actively finding the beautiful things in people. Maybe not telling them everything like I'm used to do and sometimes doing as well. It's like just, enumerating all of those beautiful qualities because maybe they cannot take it. But reflect to them and tell them especially the things that they're not used to hear. So okay, if somebody has beautiful eyes and she keeps hearing that she has beautiful eyes, after a while it becomes tiring. But if you tell her or him about something else that you notice, about their character or about their body, it's like suddenly they go like, oh wow, he notices me, she notices me. Okay?
Bringing a sense of curiosity and being interested as well as interesting.
Yeah. So this is what I have to say about beautiful, and also I talk with, there's many beautiful women, so beautiful according to modern society, beautiful that have sometimes aversion because men are hitting on them all the time, but some of them, they're actually yearning for the right man to be hitting on them, the right man to be coming and approaching them. So if you feel that you can serve a woman and you can connect with a woman or a man, again, works both ways, by all means, don't put yourself down for the person who asked that question. Don't put yourself down and that person up just because socially they are more beautiful than you are on some imaginary scale.
Yeah, I mean the imaginary scale is real because you have slept with people you call the beautiful, or are you just saying you've slept every woman you've slept with is beautiful because you see every single person as being beautiful?
Yes. So both of them. I have been with women.
But there's still a scale, right? Like you still have a spectrum of beauty.
Yeah, there's some scale, but again, it's like I've been with some women who maybe were not considered beautiful according to whatever society, and I was enamored and amazed and turned on, and it's like in love and so on by them.
I think it doesn't matter 2 bits of anything what society thinks is beautiful. It's we all have specific tastes. It's about satiating that and finding somebody who's in alignment with that, also physically as well as internally, right? So that's cool. And one of the cool takeaways I've had over the years is when you're with the one or one of the ones you're with A1 when you can both feel like you're both like shooting out of your league, right? Like you're both like, wow, you are so like there's this aspect of both looking up at each other, rather than looking down. Yeah. Or one person's looking down, the other person's looking up.
Oh my God, it's so amazing! I can't believe I'm with you. Another person's like, oh, if you say that, it's like, oh, maybe I should be with you.
Exactly, but if the person is also enamored as well, and you have enough esteem and stability within yourself to be confident with that, you'll be in a connection where you're both just like thanking your lucky stars every day for having that connection, that primary relationship. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, this is good. I think we've got enough there. We can finish up, guys. So this is your final chance to say goodbye. If you'd like to say goodbye, check out intimatepower.com. Any final thoughts to give people?
Yeah, this is a natural part of life, and it's about time that we as men and as women learn to, first of all, connect with ourselves, and then learn how to connect with another person. Learn to engage in beautiful, fun, sacred, orgasmic, ecstatic connections with other people, which can be anything from an eye gaze to, a night to a 30-year relationship. Okay, it's time that we learn how to do this. It's time that we stop judging and fearing that, and allowing ourselves to interact in these beautiful interactions in order to grow ourselves as a person, in order to grow in love, in order to become all that we are.
Beautiful. And I would love to just finish with something as a gift to everyone who's still on the cast, and there's quite a few of you, actually, a lot of you on the cast still. So thank you guys for staying with the conversation, and clearly it's been as good for you as it has been for us. So shall we offer what we talked? Yeah, I'm going to offer you guys, so for the first 3 people who personally message us individually, one of us, we'll do a complimentary 15-minute sensual/sexual exploration session. So that can be done over Skype, and then we can just have a look at, what are the things that you're dealing with specific to your situation, and how can we be of service to you in unlocking your sensuality or sexuality, or anything in regards specifically to even conscious seduction. We've both been doing it for a little while, so thank you, Ben, and thank you everyone for coming on board.
Yeah, thank you very much, Elphie, and thank you for really, really. So this is another aspect of attraction. I put the word out that I want to talk more about this stuff, and you came up and you're like, oh, let's do something. So not just in romance, but in business and creativity and friendships as well.
Yeah, put it out there and see what comes by. Thank you so much, Eyal.
I would say put it in there as well.
Love you guys. Take care, everyone.
Ciao.
See you around.